When I was growing up, somewhere around middle school, there was a group of movies released called High School Musical. It was a trilogy, started when I was in middle school, ended when I left high school. And I'm going to tell you something about High School Musical, all right? High School Musical is a fantastic group of movies when you don't got a bitch in your ear telling you that they suck. All right, listen to me. I love musicals, right? Grease, Little Shop of Horrors, Rocky Horror Picture Show. I grew up on all of that shit. But if you recognize, a lot of those musicals were probably not for me to listen to. I was watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show at like 9 years old, okay? That probably wasn't the best time, but then again, I also saw American Pie and a grown woman's titties on live wrestling when I was like 7, okay? It's no wonder that I'm always horny all the time because I just grew up around sex. But the point is that one of the things that I really enjoyed growing up was the High School Musical movies. And so today, to prove to you how much I love the High School Musical movies, I am going to recount all 3 of them from memory and tell you why I love them so much, okay? So the first High School Musical movie comes out. And it starts with a sweaty dude and a sweaty kid playing basketball. Probably not the greatest cold opening to a movie you've ever seen, but it's okay because they're father and son, which might make it worse. Mother runs in, goes, "Boys, did we fly all this way to play basketball?" "Yeah." "No, go get dressed and shower up. There's a kids party downstairs." "Kids party? Young adults, now go," right? Okay, so the boy's name is Troy, and he's a jock, right? And he plays the basketball, he does the dribbles, okay? And around that same time, there's a woman who's really mad at her daughter for reading books. So she goes in there and she's like, "Listen to me, Gabriella. You can't be reading these books all the time. You need to go out and find a boy who wants to, rotate your cuervos," right? So she sends Gabriella with her book down to the young adults party. And they both get down there, and there's a karaoke bit going on. Now, I love me some karaoke, but the people who are standing up top suck. So then they do a random spotlight, and who do they land on but Troy and Gabriella? And then Troy and Gabriella walk up, and it turns out that the bookworm and the basketball player have the voice of angels, right? The start of something new. Okay, so then Troy's like, "Yo, let me get your number, mamas," and she gives it to him, and he's like, "Cool, I'll text you over the school year, and then when I finally get my big basketball scholarship, I can fly out and rotate your cuervos." Okay, so then we cut to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Why the fuck these movies were filmed in goddamn Albuquerque, I'll have no idea, but Wildcats, woohoo, right? Okay. So they all show back up at the school, and Troy's like, winter was kind of uneventful, right? He doesn't want to tell anybody about his secret, winter loving happened so fast. It was cold and my dick was small. I didn't last, right? Okay, he didn't want to tell anybody about that yet, right? So what the fuck am I talking about? So he gets into detention. He gets into his homeschool with the teacher who teaches the art. The theater teacher, right? That's his homeschool room. And he's looking and he thinks he sees Gabriella, and his little basketballs are starting to jiggle, right? Because he's like, "Oh my God, yeah, I need to get into that." So he starts trying to get a hold of her. And eventually he texts her in the middle of class because this is a high school basketball player who's only got sex on his mind. So of course he's not thinking. So all of the phones get confiscated. Finally, he rolls up and he finds Gabriella, and he's like, "It is you." And she's like, "It is you." And they talk for a little bit, and then this bitch named Sharpay comes up and interrupts and starts talking about how she wants Troy to rotate her cuervos, right? So after that, a bunch of stuff goes down, and eventually it turns out that there is a musical that Sharpay is signing up for with her brother Ryan. And Sharpay and her brother Ryan have this weird incestuous thing going on. Like, they're not fucking and they never share an on-screen kiss, but there's definitely some weird shit happening, and I don't know what the fuck is going on there. But anyway, so they sign up for the school musical, and then Gabriella ends up putting her name at some point, and Troy ended up putting his name as a goof. Then, partway through basketball practice, they start singing a song about how Troy's not playing correctly, right? Get your head in the game. Gotta get your head in the game, right? All right. After basketball practice is over, the musical serves as a distraction. Troy rushes off, and he goes and he auditions with Gabriella. Now, at first, they were late to the audition, and the theater lady is like, "The theater waits for no one," and she walks out. But she secretly hides around the corner so she could listen in on Troy and Gabriella singing. And after they're done singing, she comes around the corner and she's like, "I want to see you guys at callbacks." And then she walks away, right? Okay, so after this is all said and done, the whole status quo is thrown off. The jocks are speaking with the nerds. The skateboarders are hanging with the cheerleaders. All of the tables in the cafeteria are starting to mingle like regular fucking human beings. By the way, the whole time I was watching this movie, I was in middle school, and I truly and honestly thought high school was going to be like this weird thing where everyone's separated into... Most of the time, people just talk to each other. Like, obviously, all your friends share common interests, but, like, there was never a time in the 3 years I went to high school... I dropped out, by the way. But there was never a time in the 3 years I went to high school where I thought for even a fraction of a second that that I wasn't able to talk to anybody, right? I always talk to the cheerleaders, the jocks, the woodworkers, the nerds, whatever, bro. Everybody just talk to everybody, but not in the world of High School Musical. Oh, no. So, the day of the callbacks is scheduled for the day after the big basketball tournament and the Scholastic Fair, or Scholastic Competition. So Gabriella, apparently, aside from being a bookworm and fucking hot, is also some sort of super genius. I forgot to mention that part. So she got recruited by the nerds in order to do that, right? So after we sing "Stick to the Status Quo," right, in the cafeteria, we run into some conflict. Where the boys are like really upset. They're like, "You're really gonna miss our basketball game to go sing in a musical with some girl?" And Troy is being filmed by his boys, right? Troy's like, "Dude, I don't care about that girl. You're my boys, all right? My dick can wait. We gotta go fondle balls, okay?" And Gabriella, she gets really upsetty spaghetti, right? Because she sees the video. And so... once that's all said and done, eventually the boys realize how bad they fucked up, right? Because Troy, he's real down in the dumps and he's sad, and they're like, "Wow, our boy really wants to rotate her Cuervos." So they go out and they try to fix it. Right? But then Sharpay's like, "Oh no. They will not ruin my chance to get the lead." So she convinces the theater teacher to move the callbacks up so that it lands on the same day as the big game and the Scholastic competition. Through some really weird spy movie shit, they end up hacking the scoreboard and the lights in the basketball gym, and they end up making the Scholastic competition shut down. And so during this temporary break, they rush to their callbacks. She's taking off her coat, he's taking off his jersey and putting on a nice shirt, and then they get up and they re-sing a start of something new, which was really, really cool. But I think that the previous song with Sharpay and Evans, "Bop to the Top," was far superior. But anyway, they end up winning this entire thing. And at the end of the day, they also won the big game. And they also won the Scholastic competition thing. Troy and Gabriella share a kiss in the things. And then a very post-credit sequence. Zeke, one of the basketball players who bakes creme brulee, he gave some cookies to Sharpay. Sharpay runs in and goes, "These cookies turn my ovaries to fire." And she runs in and she jumps on him. And then nothing comes of that relationship for the next 2 movies. High School Musical 2! The movie starts with Troy trying to get his car fixed and realizing that him and the boys need a job for the summer. So Sharpay, who's still trying to get Troy to rotate her Cuervos, despite the fact that he's rotating the Cuervos of Gabriella, has decided that she's going to get her dad, who owns the country club, to give Troy a job. So she gives Troy a job, but then Troy says, "Well, what about the rest of my classmates?" And he gets everybody in his grade a summer job at this country club. He doesn't just get like Zeke and Corbin Blue a job over there, right? No, he gets everybody. Everybody gets a job. The pianist girl, the nerds, the basketball people, the cheerleader, every fucking body gets a job at this fucking place, okay? And they start getting like stupid bullied by the manager, who's just this miserable, stuffy white dude, because they all are. And and then they sing one of the best songs in the movie, which is "Work This Out." We've got to work this out, right? Okay, so they do that, and they're all like, "Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of money. You know, we're gonna get tickets, we're gonna get DJ equipment, we're gonna get all this stuff." After a while, Gabriella slips in so she could get Troy some promotions. Because remember, she's still trying to get Troy to rotate her Cuervos. So after all of that is said, by the way, I have no idea what Cuervos mean. It just sounds funny in my mind. And I'm sure there's somebody who speaks Spanish who's screaming at the monitor by this point. But anyway, so after she gets Troy his promotion, she gets him lined up with the Harlem Globetrotters or some fucking basketball team, and he gets to play a practice with them, but he blows off his boys to do it. So he blows off his friends to play basketball with the Harlem Globetrotters, and he blows off a bunch of other people, and he blows off Gabriella because he's getting all these opportunities. He's getting a golf scholarship, he's getting a basketball scholarship, he's getting a handsome white boy with swooped hair and piercing blue eyes scholarship. He's just getting handed all this shit, and he can't believe how much he fucking loves all of it. But the employee talent show is coming up, and Ryan, feeling betrayed that his sister girlfriend Sharpay has chosen Troy to be her lead, decides that he's gonna whip the rest of the staff up into shape, right? So he goes to Corbin Blue. I forgot the name of Corbin Blue's character, by the way. So he goes to Corbin Blue and the rest of the staff, and he's like, "Come on, guys, we could do a whole musical number, and we can win the employee talent show." And Corbin Blue's like, "I don't dance, you know you can, not a chance, no. If I could do this, then you could do that," right? Okay, so then Ryan and Corbin Blue participate in the most homoerotic song you've ever seen in your fucking life. And at the end of it, they're wearing each other's clothes. You cannot tell me those two did not fuck that night. So anyway, Corbin Blue and the rest of the Scooby Gang decide that they're going to agree to this talent show. But there's one thing left. They need Troy to come back. Because if Troy sings with Sharpay, then it's all over. So they trick Sharpay and Troy. And they switch the songs so that when Troy comes out to sing, he's singing with Gabriella. And the movie ends and him and Gabriella kiss again and everything's okay. High School Musical 3! We open up the movie with a sweaty shot of Troy's face. And he's like, and you hear the clock, dung, 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 Dung. I know I can hardly breathe. And Gabriella stands up in a crowd of 500 fucking people alone with a spotlight on her. You can do it. Just know that I believe. And he goes, woo! And they fucking sing a song and he, Wildcats! And he fucking makes the shoot and they finish. It's their senior year. And the big crux of this movie is who is taking who to the prom. And guess what? Sharpay really wants Troy to rotate her Cuervos, even though he's rotating the Cuervos of Gabriella. So, the movie goes on to do this whole thing about prom, and they sing the second best song in the series, which is the prom song, which I just sang the other night, and you would think that I would remember the lyrics so I could do a funny little rendition of it. But the point is, it's gonna be our night to remember. Come on, you thought I fucking forgot it? Fuck no. So anyway, prom is coming up, and Troy and Corbin Blue are reminiscing on their childhood in a scrapyard that we haven't seen for 2 movies. This is apparently like their childhood favorite place. They used to always hang out there. They would be spies and cops and all this other shit. We've never heard about this fucking place for 2 movies, okay? It was just a cool place to do a musical scene, right? The boys are back, right? Okay. So there's all this reminiscing going on, all this talking going on, and Sharpay basically fails again, to the fact where we end off the movie with a big, beautiful prom scene. Troy's like, I'm gonna go to whatever school Gabriella's going to, because I'm not gonna leave her behind. And at the end of the movie, Troy and Gabriella kiss, and that's the end of the High School Musical trilogy from memory. So you might be thinking, well, Kaiser, you made a lot of jokes. You kind of made fun of it. What makes the High School Musical trilogy a good set of movies? And it's because it's all cheesy, corny camp. It's all ridiculously corny camp. It's just fucking funny. I love it from start to finish. If you've never seen them, or the last time you watched them was like 20 years ago or whatever, you need to watch these movies if you like musicals, because they're just ridiculous. They're hilarious, corny camp. They recycle the same plot in different ways, but it's so much fun every time. And that is why the High School Musical trilogy is far better than you think it is.